What's up, BJ?
I don't know. Do you want to just? What are we doing?
Hey, can I get something off my chest?
Yeah, do it. We're doing it. This is special. We're doing something special for you today.
Hark, what's the noise out by the porch door? 'Tis Granny, his mother's, there's plenty or more. Her old weathered face lightens up with a grin, and he mummers, nice mummers, loud in.
You did it.
I just need to get that off my chest.
I'm
Things
glad
have
you
gone
did.
modern. I
Things
suppose
have
that's
gone.
the cause.
Yeah, they have.
Alright.
But yeah.
So who's with us here? We've got 10 people watching, an overwhelming amount. I see Ben White, I see Nigel Davidson, I see Matthew Thornton, etc. And that's probably it. So I think the idea here is that we're just going to have kind of an off-the-cuff discussion about two movies that we saw this summer so far that we loved. Although Logan came out in March, I think.
Oh yeah. They're very, very good movies. Both Marvel, but one's Fox and one's real Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Both very good, and I think both the direction I think we both think these superhero movies should go in. I don't know. I love Logan. I loved Legion. Did you see Legion at all? The X-Men TV show?
So it was really good, huh? I'll be honest, I watched like the trailer and I watched like a 5-minute preview of it and I was like, this doesn't look like X-Men in the least bit. And
Yeah.
I just wasn't I wasn't enticed.
I don't know. It was especially coming off all these Marvel like Netflix series, which are very samey, and it's like all the same stuff. I thought Legion was very, just bold. It had an auteur.
Did it have anything to do with X-Men at all?
Spoiler alert, but Professor Xavier is the father of one of the dudes.
Does he ever even show up, or they say it like off camera and it's like?
Well, yeah, they have to because they can't get Patrick Stewart.
Or James McAvoy, perhaps? See, I don't know. I feel like yeah. So this is I feel like I kind of want. I should give it a chance because I'm an X-Men fan. I don't know if I would say a big X-Men fan, but I like most of the X-Men movies. How do you like that?
Yeah, because I think I like that X-Men is separate from the rest of Marvel. I like that a lot. In fact, I don't like this monopoly that Disney has on like every franchise we ever have.
Yeah, well, it while Marvel has changed like the ways that you monetize this stuff, and they do a serviceable to excellent job every time they do an outing. It's like out of nowhere, Fox is between Deadpool and Logan, like actually revolutionizing comic book movies, which I don't think anybody saw coming. And I almost feel like you needed that train wreck Fantastic Four movie.
Oh yeah.
To enable it.
Was that Sony? Was that Sony?
No, that's Fox.
Fox. That was also Fox?
Fox owns Fantastic Four and X-Men, which are sort of like, I think that they were sold together or something. Can I tell you, have you ever seen that Fantastic Four movie?
No.
All right. It was directed by, the guy's name escapes me now, but he directed that movie Chronicle.
Oh yeah.
The Max Landis movie.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Chronicle was good.
Yeah, and so it was a situation where it's like this guy with $1 million made this really cool found footage superhero movie, which seemed to be this like new voice, and they gave him like 200 mil and said like, here, make this. And I have to tell you, like, I've now seen Fantastic Four 2015 3 times. Yeah. I kept watching it with Nina essentially to be like every time I watched it, I forgot it. It fell right out of my head. Like kind of like a Transformers movie. But here, like, if I can just give you like a quick pitch of Fantastic Four 2014, the first like 40 minutes is like serviceable but pretty terribly boring, slightly sloppy. Character setup. You've got like the main character played by Miles Davis, whatever the hell his name is.
Miles Morales.
Miles Morales. And then you've got Michael B. Jordan, and you've got one of the dragon tattoo girls, Rooney Mara's sister. And then you've got like the guy who played the evil ape in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Like he's playing like a real guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's Doctor Doom, but you can tell it's like this sort of overwritten, underwritten, rewritten thing. But it resembles a movie. And then they go to like a different dimension, and the CG is garbage. And then they touch some goo, and they all have like traumatic body experiences, like body horror.
Yeah,
where one of them's stretching out, one of them's turning into a rock, and so the thing is like he keeps yelling out his buddy's name, Reed Richards. He's like Reed, and then so fine, whatever. You sort of know what he's going for, and then it cuts to black, EJ, and it fades up from black, and it's like a clear reshoot.
Yeah. Oh, they have like, doesn't the actress have like a wig?
Well, that's for sure. But like, just in terms of plot and story, they fade back up, and it's like the government in like a conference room, and they're like, so ever since that event, we've been using them as weapons. And then there's a bunch of like wide shots of the Fantastic Four like fighting for the army, but like it's all CG, so they didn't have to get the actors back. And that's basically the only superhero action in the whole movie. It's like some quick clips of them doing shit. And then, Dr. Doom is sort of born, and then they have to fight him in like basically a 5-minute scene at the end. And then at the very end, they're given a lab together, and they're all standing looking at the lab, and they're like, this is absolutely fantastic. And he's like, what did you just say? And he goes, I said fantastic. And then it cuts to like the title, and that's the whole movie.
Wow.
And I'm like, I desperately want to see a documentary about like the disaster that is that movie.
Yeah, because didn't the director like smear like crap on the walls and stuff like that?
Yeah,
apparently, so had a huge meltdown
in rebellion. He's like,
but yeah, let's.
What are they saying in there?
Yeah,
I love Box Mac. Thanks, dude. I would love to see them do a good Doctor Doom in a Marvel movie. Yeah, me too. The closest you can get to a good Doctor Doom is in the Roger Corman movie, which it was unreleased. I recently saw a documentary about it. It was sort of fascinating. I never even watched the Fantastic Four movie because it looked terrible. No, you should see it, Ben. You should see it. And we all have to see it. Frankie, you're wasting your life watching that movie. No. It all led up to this moment where I got to tell you. What's up with Rich Ezel says, Box Mac got me on Cracker Barrel. Best Box Mac.
It is. It's a fact.
Serious question. How can I help proliferate Box Mac in Australia? It's not really a thing here. So you're asking, this is Bo White, you're asking how do you like a grassroots camp? Dude, like I can't even get views on my videos. Like you want, how am I supposed to transform the food economy?
You tell us how to break, 1,000 views per video. We'll try to figure out Box Mac in Australia.
Your buddy Sam is watching you from the gym. Suicide Squad was better than Fantastic Four. Yeah, that's an understatement, I would say.
Hi, Sam.
Ryan Wynn. I went to school for years and years with Ryan Wynn, and he became like a fan. Totally surprising to me. But I'll take it. I think it's cool. All right, so I went on the Fantastic Four diatribe because they own X-Men, and after seeing Fantastic Four, and also there was Apocalypse, which was sort of a misstep, but Days of Future Past was cool, and then they decided, they were like, we've got nothing left to lose. Let's make this $60 million Deadpool movie.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds was champion for forever, and that struck gold. And then, and I think that kind of opened the way for rated R movies, I think, across the superhero spectrum. And that could always be a bad thing, to be like, oh, now they're just going to try to shove a rated R or any superhero movie, and that could have mixed results. But Logan turned out so good. Just the opening shots where he takes out the guy. This is gonna be spoilers, by the way. Everything's gonna be spoilers. Sorry,
I hope all 13 of you have seen the movie.
Yeah, all 13 of you. Yeah. But just the brutal where he kills the carjackers. You're just like, oh, that's what his claws can do. So who directed this? This is James Mangold.
James Mangold.
Mangold.
Yeah, he directed Walk the Line, and I didn't even realize this until later. He directed The Wolverine, that second Wolverine movie.
Yeah, and 3:10 to Yuma. I think this is better.
Yeah, well, he obviously. There's like I have the Blu-ray, and I watched this big documentary on the whole thing. And yeah, to your point about like the rated R thing, because I remember like James Gunn came out and a lot of people were talking after Deadpool. Everybody was sort of like telling these cautionary tales of like just because a rated R superhero movie was successful doesn't mean they all need to be rated R. Like don't take away the wrong lesson here, folks. And so I think when Logan was sort of greenlit with an R rating, everybody was a little afraid of it, but it did a completely different thing with the R rating. And Hugh Jackman said it well on the Blu-ray. He's like, the R rating obviously afforded us the violence and the language, but he's like, in a way, the R rating is more about like the grimness and the depressiveness, and than it is anything else.
Because you can't, I don't know, like the Marvel movies, there's a little bit of like, oh, we're selling toys to 13-year-olds, so we got to keep everything a little chipper, get a joke in here and there.
Right, exactly.
And this definitely had. You know what this reminded me of, and I think did better tone-wise, is Rogue One. It kind of reminds me of Rogue One in that it feels like everyone's doomed. But I think everybody had, like, Wolverine, Professor Xavier, everybody just had better arcs and were a full realized journey. Laura had an excellent one, too.
I love her. I think she's amazing.
I love her introduction, the way she carries herself, her acting.
Who's that dude who plays Donald? He was amazing too.
Which one was that? The bad guy?
Yeah, with the claw hand.
I love that like half the dudes have robot hands. Yeah. Because like if you're going after these X-Men children, basically you're gonna get your arms ripped off.
Yeah, like, pretty much.
I thought that was like a little cool detail. Like half of them have robot arms.
Yeah, he was really. There's something that I really like about like Southern dandy arrogance. Like Walter Goggins in Vice Principal. Like.
Oh yeah. Where he's like kind of like a metrosexual, and he like walks.
It's almost like they're so gay that they're hyper masculine. Like here I finally see the Wolverine, and he's junkie. I'm like, oh my god, that guy wants to fuck me up.
Why don't you? It's like you want to play for the good guys, and he's talking to Caliban there.
Oh yeah, so I forgot that Caliban was in X-Men Apocalypse. Did you know that?
I actually don't remember him.
Yeah, because the movie's pretty unmemorable. But there's a scene when Apocalypse is just kind of like wandering around getting his 4 horsemen, and it's pretty uninteresting. And he goes to like an underground sort of mutant bar where he finds Psylocke, and Caliban was hiding her or something. So it's like a bald gay dude who can hunt down mutants, and it's
you're right.
That's Caliban.
That was Caliban.
So and he even tried to sort of make a character arc with him, because I think we get the impression in that movie that he sells out his own kind, or that he's not a great guy, and they kind of indicate that in Logan, that he's actually had a character arc between these movies, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, he doesn't want to sell anyone out anymore, and I actually would like to see. I like Stephen Merchant, so I wanted to see more of him in that movie.
Super inspired casting. Like that seemed, that was really surprising to me that they would cast him. I remember when I was watching the movie, I was feeling for Logan so much when like he's just driving around trying to make some cash, and he's got to care for this like really fragile albino guy. And he's got the world's most powerful mind is losing its mind, and I was like, this poor guy and he's finally feeling, he's not healing suddenly, and we are seeing these characters, especially Logan, but all of these characters at their very most vulnerable when the movie starts. Yeah. And 9 movies into a franchise, that is just like a revelation to me with storytelling. Especially, I heard somebody once say they were like, in comic books, you get the beginning, you get the middle, you sort of never get an end.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like actually doing the final chapter of the book was really awesome.
I'm getting some feedback.
Oh, is it because I don't have headphones in?
Yeah, maybe.
I'll put them in. I'll look stupid too. Are you guys all good over there? I saw one person comment that it's choppy, but I'm doing a test stream next to me. It doesn't look choppy to me. Don't look no choppy to me. Oh, actually, I can't put in headphones because it's taking your audio, I think. So. No, Draco. EJ just asked.
It kind of looks like him.
Did Draco Malfoy play Donald? No, but I did hear some people try to say that.
Kind of looks like his performance in Planet of the Apes.
that it was an allegory for like Donald Trump simply because his name is Donald and like he's rounding up immigrants. I'm like, really? Like everything's a Trump allegory now? Like, so you're a cinematographer.
Yeah.
Pretty good looking movie.
Yeah, it's like it's not the teal and orange, the orange and teal color scheme. It's something. It's something else. It's very. I don't know.
I thought it was color corrected properly because it was like it was shot on location.
I'm glad that there is a trend that people are bringing colors back into just media in general. Guardians of the Galaxy is a very good example coming up because it's like, there's more colors than just those two.
Well, so they on the topic of no colors, there was it's a little gimmicky, but there is a black and white mastered version for the Blu-ray. Did you know that?
Oh yeah. I want the noir version or whatever.
Bell Boots asks, "What movie are we talking about?" The movie is Logan, 20th Century Fox's Logan. So yeah, the black and white version I think is actually, if you love the movie, you want to watch it again, I think it's worth a watch.
Does it add anything?
No, but it does look like it's native black and white. Like it doesn't look like it was just like quickly mastered in black. It looks very intentionally black and white, and so I thought it worked. But I never thought that Patrick Stewart would make a return in any of these movies.
Yeah, you think?
I never thought he would. I thought after X-Men 3 it was all over.
Oh yeah, because they killed him or whatever.
And then I feel like they kind of like Days of Future Past was like one last time, and then I thought it was just really intelligent to be like, we're going to do sort of this father and son story. And I also thought it was incredible that they, there is essentially no reference to anything X-Men in the whole movie.
That's I think the greatest thing is, it is very standalone. They make reference to like the Statue of Liberty briefly, but I was so glad it was like a standalone. You don't even have to see the other Wolverine movies.
There's a couple of punches to the gut with the dialogue. Like when Xavier's like, I always know it's you, just sometimes I don't recognize you. It was like, crap, it was an amazing line. Or how about the scene towards the end when she's asking him, like, what's this bullet? And he's like, I was thinking about shooting myself with it. And Nina pointed out to me, she's like, you know what's going on, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, when they keep talking about we're gonna go in the Sunseeker and we're gonna go way out and we're gonna live out our days that way. She's like, what's really going on is he knows that like eventually he's gonna take Xavier off the medication.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna let him seize out. They're gonna do it someplace where they can't hurt anybody, where he's comfortable at like a beach or something. Yeah. He's gonna die, and then
a suicide mission.
And then Wolverine's gonna kill himself.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what this fucking story's about.
That's so like bold for any comic book movie, because even like Deadpool's rated R, but it was just like, oh, it's all fun jokes, and then to make something so cynical and so.
I thought of something the other day about this. Like I've over the course of the last 20 years of comic book movies and me being fans of them and stuff, I feel like the conversation that goes round and round and round on the internet and in person is like dark or not dark. That's all anyone seems to have the capability of talking about. Is like, should it be dark? Should it not be dark? And to me, it's like that is just complete. That's like, who should we cast? Like that is completely dependent on the story you're telling. It has nothing to do with anything else. You can make a really interesting, lighthearted X-Men movie, and you can make a really interesting dark X-Men movie. What story are you telling?
Yeah. It is all about what kind of story, you want to tell. I like, how am I supposed to turn that into an action figure set, says Consequences. I think that's
what action figure set? Oh,
no, it's how you're supposed to turn a dark, depressing story into an action figure
I see.
set.
Or maybe he's talking about, like a cool scene where, like, Logan's blowing his brains out and Xavier's seizing out.
It comes with a little boat.
And Morgan Freeman's like, Tam Wantanehu, or whatever the fuck. So, towards the end of the movie, I mean, like, that's I saw it twice in theaters, and I've watched it now on Blu-ray once. And I went the second time because it got, like, I cried quite a bit at the end of the movie. Like, I really wasn't expecting to see so much pain and misery and agony. And it really touched me.
I think both these movies, just as a recent father, there's a lot of father.
Yeah.
There's a lot of father responsibility, father figure themes throughout both the Guardians of the Galaxy and Logan. Yeah, it did affect me too.
You wanted like an extra layer to it that's really kind of crazy that the internet sort of informed me about later. So we already established that James Mangold directed The Wolverine, which is the one where he goes to Japan and stuff.
Mm.
And remember, he has like a sidekick in that movie. Like, he's got this like a sort of samurai girl.
Oh yeah.
And she says pretty early on in the movie that she can see people's death. She knows when they die, and she's never wrong. She's going, and he kind of avoids the topic because he's sort of immortal. And at the end of the movie, they're in a Corvette together or something. I don't know. And she suddenly is like crying, and he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I've seen your death." She goes, and normally it's like looking through a pinhole. I don't get the whole picture, but you're laying down, there's blood everywhere, and you're holding your heart in your hand. And it's like a little bit, it's frightening. Mm-hmm. This movie, directed by the same guy, so he was paying it off. He's laying down, there's blood everywhere, and what's in his hand is Laura's hand.
Oh. Dang.
That's pretty good.
It's metaphorical. Yeah,
like a two movie payoff that most people won't get.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I you know what I was thinking about when the X-Men Origin movie came out, the Wolverine. A video game came out at the same time, branded the same way, but it was rated M for mature, and it was the same thing where Wolverine, like. It was the game was just visceral, violent. Wolverine was just a beast, and I was always thinking like, this is what I always want. This is what I wanted that movie to be, and I think Logan, it delivered that, but it also like, because there's a stakes to having that power. Like, you don't just like stab the guy in the gut and they fall over. So I thought it was just good to finally see that.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, F yeah, violence, it's like
consequences of violence.
Yeah, but the violence is fun, but
I remember the first time I saw the trailer to Logan, and I thought it was just so great that they were taking this crazy new direction. And it's also a little surprising because Apocalypse didn't come out that long ago, and
I think Apocalypse did do well too.
Yeah. But it was,
not critically,
the last X-Men movie was like a year ago, and like they turned this Logan movie right around. And I think it only cost them something like, $60 million or something. Monkakur says, when are the box back action figures coming out? This is somebody who don't give a fuck about Logan. But I remember, like, he had the dude, obviously, he directed Walk the Line, so he obviously loves Johnny Cash. And so there's Johnny Cash music in the trailer, there's Johnny Cash music.
Oh, yeah, that was great, too.
Yeah.
Hurt. Great trailer.
Yeah, yeah. And also the credits. There's a man going around taking names. But I remember, like, I don't know, like, I remember seeing the trailer and being like, it sort of had the impact of like 9 movies, this one actor, and finally seeing this character in just so much pain. I was like, this character has been through so much.
Yeah. Well, you think about, like, yeah, he's been through, like, wars, like, so many world wars and stuff.
Yeah.
And how long do you think it's going to take for them to replace Wolverine?
I think they want to avoid the topic. I think they probably, like, I think they're looking into, the new X-Men and the, all the spin-off variations of X-Men. I think Legion is a step in that direction of, like, trying to take the property but do something completely, like basically building a cinematic universe of mutants that doesn't rely on Magneto. But to me, it's like, those are your characters. Like, that's why I go.
Yeah. I think we'll move on to Guardians of the Galaxy, but I just wanted to address Bell Boots' thing where, what's the editorial choice behind taking all the color out, e.g. blue in Game of Thrones? I think that in Game of Thrones, I think that's just to orient you where you are. So, like, they'll do a blue cast when you're in the north, and they'll do, like, for King's Landing, they'll make things more, like, orange, or more, in Dorne, it's more, like, more orange, too. I think it's just an orientation device, a quick
it's like flagging certain things in your memory. Whether subconsciously, perhaps. There was, like, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul have color coding like mad.
Yeah, like whenever they're in Mexico, it's usually that really harsh orange and stuff like that.
Another question. Can you sum up what X-Men and Marvel movies are doing right now with story that DC is not, if you agree with that? Well, I think that I think Batman v Superman is a pile of dog shit. I think Man of Steel is a pile of dog shit. By the way, no disrespect to Zack Snyder, because holy crap, his 20-year-old daughter killed herself in March, and it's like, it's kind of if I could just be like, all right, don't, like, no more Batman movies for anybody for the rest of the existence, just to, like, prevent that from happening, like, I probably would, but I think he made some crap movies, and I sort of like Suicide Squad, but I do get it, like, the edit and the screenplay are all busted.
Yeah.
I get it, but I still, at the end of the day, there's still charisma in the movie. At least there's Will Smith and there's Harley, and so I'm down with that. But I mean, I don't know. Would you agree that Marvel is at this point is basically just lots of episodes in a giant television series?
Yeah, it feels like that. It feels, especially when I went to see Civil War, that's what it felt like. It felt like I had to see seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 before seeing season 5.
Yeah.
It feels a little more like a chore. What I like about Guardians of the Galaxy is it feels a little more self-contained, at least at the moment. I feel like it's going to get uncontained with the Infinity War or whatever it's called.
Did you and I, there's a YouTube channel called Film and Stuff, I think, or Films and Stuff, and they did a breakdown on Action box office that you and I watched. That was like about like how there's only like 6 movies a year that make any money.
Oh yeah, that was a great video.
Well, that same guy made a video about Disney and about how Disney releases properties, and it basically was like Disney's entire business model is based on characters, and like from whether they're doing the their animated studio to Marvel to Star Wars. They're always introducing a new character to you that they're trying to make you fall in love with while revitalizing an old character. And so they're like pushing new stuff while pushing old stuff. And that's what Marvel does as well, I think, where it's like, here's Iron Man. Iron Man before 2008 was not Batman. He was not Superman. He was not Wolverine. And they sort of made him A-class. and then he brought the next, and so I think that's what it does successfully is it builds on itself like a good TV show or like a good series of novels. And I think that it's most successful when it brings in new voices like James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy, or the Russos with Captain America: Winter Soldier. I think is a great movie. And
what was the name of that video? Maybe we should link it there.
Sure, I'll do a quick search. Disney films and stuff. Did I find it? Stand by. Ion Cannon. EJ and Frankie are streaming. Thank you. Films and stuff. Found it. I found the YouTube channel. And now I just need to... The dude talks about Disney somewhere in here. Got it. How Disney Conquered Hollywood is the video. And I'll link it. How would you feel about a new Howard the Duck movie? Sure. I mean, it sounds like James Gunn should do it, right?
Yeah.
Because he actually...
Howard the Duck had a cameo in Guardians.
Will they go back and start doing prequels or continue with the younger generation? Oh, you're talking about X-Men? I don't know. I think they'll probably continue with the young generation.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of even Logan just doing like one-offs, just doing like how comics have those one issues.
Well, I always kind of dreamt of like instead of doing what Marvel does, which is great, which is it sort of builds and builds and builds. I always thought it'd be really cool to do lower cost, basically comic book issues across an entire. Like I think DC has an opportunity to do that. I think Gotham City Sirens is a really fun idea, which is like they're going to do a movie about like Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Harley.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I think they should keep the budget like at $50 million, and no laser in the sky, please. And that could be really great. Or what about this? Here's a crazy idea that I think would be really fun. What if you had let's say every year a new Batman movie comes out, but different director, different writer, perhaps different Bruce Wayne, different cast. I would watch just like it's sort of like their the Warner Brothers animated Blu-ray movies.
Yeah.
Like I would totally watch that.
Then we do a Batman Beyond 1 year or something.
Yeah, just Batman. Like I would do that. I guess sort of like Star Wars.
Yeah, or like I like the there's some like what if issues of comic books, like what if Batman was in the World War II or something. I think those would be fun too.
That'd be great. Well, it would distinguish DC in a meaningful way from Marvel. And let's face it, I don't know. I don't want to see a Martian Manhunter movie. Don't push Martian Manhunter on me. I don't think they're gonna, but still, I don't want to see a Cyborg movie either. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't think really anybody wants to see Aquaman or whatever.
I never saw this Flash show that everybody's going crazy about, but I don't really give a fuck about the Flash either.
Yeah.
I always thought
Wonder Woman's supposed to be good.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe, but sure, I guess I'll go check it out before I have a baby. I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
Zach Carlisle wants a Batman Beyond movie. I agree. Ben White, I'd love to see a sequel to Batman and Robin with the same cast. Arnold as Mr. Freeze is one of my favorite performances of all time. You know what? Okay, that's a good example. I would love to see.
A different director. David Lynch.
Yeah. I'm going to direct Batman and Robin.
Hello.
Batman
and Robin is going to be my next film.
Would you like to be in next film? No, I want to. I remember the animated series had some really awesome Mr. Freeze stories.
Oh yeah.
Where he was like, Nora, the icy hot Nora.
Well, they tried to adapt that story into Batman and Robin, which is kind of funny.
My beloved Nora.
Because that story didn't exist in the comics, if I remember correctly. But they no. I would like to see that because
I think that Hollywood thinks that a little Mr. Freeze movie is not that they're not allowed to do that somehow. It has to. The world has to be in grave danger. You can't have a movie. You can't have a big blockbuster that only has 2 or 3 action set pieces.
Yeah.
But you can't. But Logan was.
That's what Logan was. The world wasn't in danger. It was just a tiny little microcosm, really.
I'd love to see
Um,
it.
it, in Guardians, the universe was in danger, but I don't know. It didn't feel as like action set piecey, if that makes any sense.
I think so. Yeah, well, because again, it was more about characters. So okay, so Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I loved it. I kind of knew I was gonna love it because what was weird for me in this whole experience was that I knew James Gunn pretty well before Guardians of the Galaxy. Like he's one of those obscure directors I actually followed, and the reason was because I was like a big Trauma fan, and I got to know Lloyd, and I read Lloyd's book, and James helped write Lloyd's book and stuff. And real quick, just an interesting James Gunn Frankie Frayne story that some people might have heard. I had made a movie called They Build a Human Monkey, and he had made a movie called Human Z that came out for like at the time Xbox Live. It was like they were trying like Xbox as like a media platform, and it starred Sean Gunn, who plays the guy in the movie, um, and a bunch of people commented on the trailer, his trailer, that like Frankie Frayne made a movie that's already this, and he contacted me and was like, "Nah, I didn't copy it." And I was like, no, I'm a fan. I love Slither and I love Super, and I said I'd love for you to watch my movie if you would. And he was like, I can't do that because then I couldn't, deny that I'd seen it.
Plausible deniability.
Plausible deniability, Mr. President. And and then the dude goes on to make like, I'd say a game changing blockbuster. That movie made like $700 million, and it had no recognizable. First of all, like not even a movie star to market it on. Like Chris Pratt, who the movie made him.
That was Parks and Rec, basically, and he was like a fat dude.
Right. The wrestler they got was not even The Rock.
Yeah. Discount Rock.
And of course, like Gamora, like she's been in a few movies, but yeah, like, and then like also like he has to somehow incorporate a tree and a raccoon, and like make it work. And he has to introduce an entire galaxy, and he has essentially five main characters that he has to move forward plot wise, and he can't rely on any of the recognition factor of the other Marvel movies, except for that it says Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the only reason people show up. So they had to nail it with that trailer, and they had that that lineup trailer with the Ooga Chaka.
Yeah.
And I think that's what sold the whole movie, and between the use of music, I mean, we all know why Guardians of the Galaxy is a great movie. So then I started seeing reviews of the second one, and people were like a little let down by it. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, people think it's a mess, and I don't see it at all. I think it's like one of the tightest movies I've seen. Like everybody has their arc. Another great, fantastic soundtrack, of course. I mean, you're pulling classic like that, but
see, we're old enough to remember when sequels were copies of the first movie.
Yeah, and this was the villain. Is personal to the story. It actually it doesn't feel like the first one definitely feels like the big bad is like a transplant from another movie. Doesn't. I mean, I think there's some history between Drax and him, but it's not that effective, I don't think. But
I just thought it shouldn't be revolutionary to do this, but I guess it is, which is like you have a movie, you have the events of the movie change the characters, and then when the sequel picks up, they pick it up from their changes. So we like the Drax that we see in Volume 2 is really not the Drax we saw in Volume 1, and same goes for Rocket and obviously Groot and most importantly Yondu, which took me completely by surprise.
Yeah. I think Yondu is definitely the MVP of Volume 2.
He's the one you walk away thinking about. Yeah.
I love.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah, I loved his arc. I love the actor. What's that actor?
Michael Rooker.
Yeah, I loved him. I loved him in Walking Dead before he was killed off and stuff. Was he killed off?
Yes, yeah. Merle.
He was Daryl Dixon's brother.
He was made famous in the early '90s in a really seedy movie that is not super watchable called Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. You ever heard of it?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
He was in Mallrats as well. He like ate the shitty pretzel and stuff. And he's been in everything. But he was in a bunch of James Gunn movies. He's friends with James Gunn. And I sort of could tell in the first movie, I'm like, James wants to make him a giant movie star off of this movie because he kind of had the ability to. And then but like I really didn't expect, because they did the whole sort of cheesy cliffhanger in the first movie of like, who is Star-Lord's father?
Oh yeah.
And then I was really surprised that at Comic-Con or whatever they basically just revealed it, that he was Ego the Living Planet. And I was like, okay, well then that must not be the twist. It must not be like Thanos is his father, so whatever the hell. Whatever, like, Star Wars fan theory. It's like, in actual facts, Palpatine is the father of Star-Lord connected by the Disney Corporation. So then, but then...
Make a 20-minute video about it.
Like 23 minutes.
23, and then, like, with sliding JPEGs.
Yeah, like shitty fan art. The Glove of Darth Vader series tells us...
According to Wikipedia.
But then to make this whole father narrative arc be all about Yondu all along. Spoilers. I mean, it not that he's his biological father, but it sort of becomes this thing about choosing your family, which is so thematic with them as friends, right? They're a bunch of people who went through trauma together who came out as family. There's sort of this thing of you choose your family or your biology isn't your family. So much like Logan, the ending caught me completely off guard emotionally. I'm sitting in one of these reclining chairs, in the movie theater. You got the giant soda here, and you're holding your wife's hand, and Baby Groot like yawns and like cuddles up with Star-Lord. I'm like, that's cute. And then he plays Father and Son by Cat Stevens, which is like one of the saddest songs ever. And then there was the funeral, and then like I'm a huge Rocky fan. Like Sly Stallone shows up, which hits me in an emotional place for almost no reason. And
I think he got robbed of the Oscar that year.
From Creed, yeah.
Yeah, Creed. He got robbed.
And didn't some fucking bullshit win instead? Like.
It was Bridge of Spies. That guy.
My God. I'm sure we recorded a podcast about it. Go check out.
Yeah, a review lounge.
Daddy Palpatine. If you didn't at least tear up during Guardians of the Galaxy 2, yeah, no, I'm with you, John. Yeah. I started getting teary, and then and I was like, and then Nina couldn't look at me, and I couldn't look at Nina, and you leave the theater puffy. Like an allergic reaction happened. No, I thought it was masterful. And if it's super fun, like I bet you could make a diagram of character arcs and unlikely character connections.
Oh yeah, and just the way everything was so tightly scripted. The script is just phenomenal, and I guess the only complaint I would have is that I would want to see just more of Chris Pratt being trying to do the father-son thing with Kurt Russell.
Well, I thought that if I had any complaint, it's that it's one of those things where it's so good that if you even take sort of a moment to be on Ego the Living Planet and have those little dialogue scenes, those suddenly felt relatively slow.
Yeah.
And so there are parts sort of in the middle where they're talking about, we're going to be a planet together or whatever. And it's a little bit slow and boring, but and we didn't talk about Nebula yet, but she has an amazing arc in this.
I actually liked. I think some people complained about the Gamora and Nebula arc, and I liked it. I thought it added a lot to these characters that I think Gamora in the first movie didn't have an incredible amount to do.
Yeah,
and I felt this was the Especially it sets off Nebula on her crash course to her father. I thought that was all really well done.
There's a great line. I was like, that's really just smart writing. Where Nebula is just so hell bent on killing Thanos, and which sort of explains also her revenge against Gamora and kind of just her bloodthirst in general. It's like she's a child of abuse, so she's abusing others, and it's sort of that whole
yeah.
And Gamora is like, I don't think that's possible. Like, you might not be able to kill Thanos, but you know what you can do? You can help other kids that might have the same problems you have. And I was like, oh my god, like that's like, I don't know, that's really awesome stuff for a comic book. We're getting a question. How did you feel about Kurt Russell? So sometimes when you cast an actor a little too late, it doesn't work out. And I thought that he brought it. Like he was charismatic, awesome Kurt Russell. And I guess every time we see one of these Marvel movies, you're gonna get to see a CG smooth version, like a young version of some old actor.
They're like, we got that technology, we gotta bring it up, we gotta resurrect a Tarkin or two.
And they're doing it a lot better than Star Wars did, in my opinion. The Tarkin thing.
Well, Tarkin was just a total recreation of.
Can I tell you? We saw Alien Covenant the other night.
Yeah, this is a good story.
And I thought for sure that like at the end, they like just escaped an alien, and then like they hand like the plans or the Death Star plans to somebody, and it's Sigourney Weaver, and she's like, Hope, and she's all CG.
CG is dripping off of her face.
She looks all freakish.
Puffy.
But that was like didn't we have that pitch where we're like at the end of the Han Solo movie?
Oh yeah.
Fucking like he's gonna like somebody's gonna walk up to him and be like, I'm looking for a ship. And it's CG Ben Kenobi, and he looks all fucked up.
Yeah, yes.
Yay, more creepy CGI turning old actors young. Yeah, I want to see like a whole movie. I want to see like a what's that movie with Sly Stallone and Kurt Russell?
Is that The Expendables or whatever?
No, it's a classic. Tango and Cash. I want to see a whole CG Tango and Cash, like Tango and Cash: The Return.
They. Let's see. What else about this?
It seems like the Rocket CG is just getting better and better.
The Rocket. I like that they added. They ended on Rocket's face, basically before the credits. Is him weeping.
Yeah.
Like what a way to end the movie. It's like
it's
on
super
your
sad.
Cartoon a raccoon.
No, it's
weeping.
Awesome.
And I just the freedom that James Gunn has to do what he wants under this corporate umbrella, I think is pretty interesting.
Which is it makes you wonder about the whole Edgar Wright Ant-Man thing when like that didn't work out. And you're kind of like, because in my opinion, look, I think that like Ant-Man ended up being a sort of uninspired movie.
Yeah. Well, it felt like an Edgar Wright movie directed by like a piece of toast, basically.
Well, I mean, it was directed by a guy who literally directed a movie called Yes Man. So they're like, what we're gonna get after this fucking bullshit with Edgar Wright? We're gonna get the Yes Man guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't the worst movie in the world, but it's pretty. No. I think there's an Every Frame of we like this YouTube channel called Every Frame of Painting, where they do these cool dissections of cinematography or ways of telling stories or visual storytelling. And they used a scene from Ant-Man as sort of an example of like the most boring way you can deliver information visually.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the way the like camera pans and everything.
Oh, I think it was
unmotivated.
I think it was the editing too. It was like there was no time to feel suspense.
Yeah.
I think it was when he was like trying to control the ants. I know what it was. They were comparing the scene from Empire Strikes Back, where Luke brings the X-Wing out of the water, and he can't do it, and it's all like there's a lot of suspense with like, will he do it? Will he do it? He can't do it, and it's all about who you're cutting to and who's reacting. And in Ant-Man, there was like just a scene where he was trying to like control some ants, and it was like a cut to the ants, a cut to him. He's like, I can't do it. And
Yeah.
they just squashed the suspense.
Yeah, I was just even watching the new Twin Peaks and like how things just play out painfully and wide sometimes, and I'm like, I never see this. Everything's always moved along so quickly.
John asked, CG Ben Kenobi, Ewan or Sir Alec? So I have the corporate answer, I think, which is it would be Ewan would do the voice, and he would be mocapped, and then but the face that the CG face they put on it would be like a Sir Alec.
How much would that face cost you? Because I didn't the Peter Cushing estate get like some payment.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Alex Guinness estate is a little bit more.
Yeah, you can't just not pay actors even when they're dead. Let's see. Is it a good thing or a bad thing that the end of the film is now broken into 4 segments within the credit sequence? Guardian seemed a little bit out of control with that. I mean, I guess it doesn't bother me per se because I paid for a movie and I'm happy to see more of it. If they, it's like it'd be like if like you're at a restaurant and you paid for like a 3-course meal and then they keep like coming out with like a little bit more dessert. I wouldn't be like pissed off about it. Like, this is a bit much.
I don't know. But, yeah, it's kind of in keeping with Guardians of the Galaxy. You have those little teases and like. I like Teenage Groot. I mean, it's all fun stuff.
Teenage Groot I loved. I thought it was hysterical. I'm Groot.
I am Groot.
But I look, if the only if they can basically make the movie stand alone, where it doesn't rely on the movie that came before it or the movie that comes after, they can do a pretty good job with that. If they still sort of have to link it to the sequel, if they can kind of do all of that work after the movie is sort of formally over, with the credits, I don't fault them for that.
So I really like the cinematography is really good. It's really good shots on Ego.
Which is mostly CG.
When Mantis and Drax are talking, there's the shimmering water and all the colors. Or when Gamora has her moment, like in that like desertish area, some of the wide shots there. So I think they're playing around with a lot of what they had.
She was really funny. Mantis was super funny.
Yeah, man.
and who knew that that Dave Bautista could do any of this?
He's good. I mean,
he's really funny.
I did love all those jokes about him calling Mantis hideous. That was right up my alley.
I found out that I'm disgusting.
And the going from the Walkman to the Microsoft Zune, A+ joke, 10 out of 10.
It's pretty funny. When I get this movie on home video, I'll probably the scene that I'll rewatch a trillion times will be the come a little bit closer scene where they're killing everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite scenes, like in a Marvel movie.
Yeah. I'll watch that over and over again. I've been listening to the song, thinking about that scene, and just trying to recreate it in my head. And it's so great because there's so much build up to it. There's Baby Groot getting it wrong, and are they ever going to get out of here? That's super he thinks that you're going to wear it as a hat. He doesn't like hats. It's just so many good gags, and then finally he gets it's like. You know that Yondu could just lay waste to these guys if he could just get his weapon back. And that's the fun and that's the suspense. Like, will it happen? So once he gets it, there's this massive release. And then just when you think, the fireworks are over, there's, this grand finale where they're in that control room and they can see all the cameras and they're just shooting everybody.
Yeah, and the overhead view is so great. And then, I've always, in the first movie, my favorite part was Yondu whistling the arrow around. I thought that was so good. And so this was it's so satisfying. And this is the set piece of that. And
I remember worrying about it a little bit because I was I liked the scene in Guardians 1 a lot. But I was if this dude almost can't be part of the Guardians because he's just sort of indestructible. As long as he has that thing, he's basically invincible. And this movie acknowledged that as being true, gave you a massive scene where that was true, and then, spoilers, ended him.
Yeah, no, that was a powerful moment, Yondu.
I think they could make I don't know. Like I'm looking forward to seeing their role in Infinity War. I don't know exactly how that's all going to work out.
Mm.
But they, I think one of the reasons that it's so good is just because obviously James is a great filmmaker. Obviously, he's just got so much vision to be able to make a movie like this. But they also let him be writer director. Like he gets to sort of own a little property off to the side, which is great.
You know what I'm going to be disappointed is like if in Infinity War, like you have the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they just have like some generic soundtrack behind them. Like some generic like orchestrated filler music.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd be disappointed in that.
John O'Brien says, "Father and son was on the Zune, Yondu's Zune, which means that was the last song he was listening to."
Yeah. No, I thought about that actually
really?
in the movie. I did. Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
I figured that was his like music, and that he like curated it for Peter Quill.
He's like, I made you a mixtape.
Yeah, he made him. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
The modern mixtape of like 2007.
People talk. Unfortunately, comparisons need to be drawn between use of soundtrack music in Guardians versus Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, like one of them is done with like form and it's relevant to the. That same dude, that Films and Stuff guy who made that video essay that we talked about earlier, he made one about the soundtrack in Guardians of the Galaxy and sort of how it's crafted and why it's crafted the way it is. And it's good shit. Obviously, a Trailer House edited Suicide Squad. So
yeah. Do you have any negatives of this movie, or
just those like slightly, like I imagine that when I rewatch it, there's a good chance that I'll hit the skip button during some of the ego scenes.
Yeah.
Because I just love everything else so much more. Like it's just one of those things where it's like when Rocket and Yondu and Baby Groot are on screen together, that's the thing I want to be watching, and I don't really want to watch them wander around a planet. But there's nothing bad with those scenes. It's just I don't know. It's kind of like when you rewatch Dark Knight. It's like you always skip like that weird boat scene at the end.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I didn't necessarily like is some really forced jokes. There was like I can't think of one off the top of my head. There was like 3 or 4 that was just like, all right, I know what you're trying to do.
I don't think I had any like that.
Yeah.
I think I was just eating out of this dude's hand.
Well, I mean, it is definitely masterful. So I think obviously we like the movie, recommend it. Both Logan and Guardians. That's why we're talking about it. How about if anybody else has any final questions for us, we can answer them. Until then, maybe we should talk about some upcoming videos that we have.
Sure.
Some upcoming.
I've got a whole like we actually have. I don't know if I told you this, EJ, but I have videos banked until August.
Oh, great.
Which is good because I'm having a baby real soon. The baby is due June 17th.
I make my videos week to week because I live dangerously.
Well, when we do Box Mag, we shoot a bunch at the same time, so I can just sort of edit them all. Let's see, we've got on the 4th, this upcoming Sunday, we've got Box Mag 82, Boring Chuck from Ohio.
Ooh, Boring Chuck. That sounds exciting.
I'm not going to explain what the premise is, but all I'll tell you is it's a high concept episode of Box Mag.
David Lynchian.
Like we will lose some subscribers over it. I guarantee you that. And then the following Sunday, there's another unboxing, which has some cool Australian stuff and like some Korean Macs. And then we do a Penis Pasta R-rated episode, which EJ actually guest stars on. And we're going to be airing that on a Tuesday because we don't want, children watching that on a Sunday.
Yeah. Well, there's Sunday morning cartoons. Their Sunday morning box mac is filled with penis pasta. We've
got the Sophia Italian brands, which is like those fancy black boxes that have like the pesto ones and stuff. We did that. We've got Aaron and Mike from Hawaii are coming on for a Korean cheesy ramen episode. There's going to be another 4th of July mix-in episode. We haven't shot it yet, but we're going to shoot that a week from Saturday. There's another unboxing where we do like Prego Awful Alfredo. There's a little teeny flea market video coming up. We tried Mac in the Instant Pot. There's 2 more scavenger junts. There's a junt's cart where he bought a ton of plants at a weird plant sale.
That is great.
And then once I go on sort of video leave, we're going to be releasing chapters of my book that I wrote on filmmaking week to week every Tuesday. We'll lose subscribers over that for sure. Yeah. And but yeah, I'm excited.
Just personally, I have a Twin Peaks off the cuff tomorrow that I'm going to be releasing. I also have I filmed a pizza on the grill, so you can make a pizza on the grill. That's an EJ Cooks that's coming up. I also have an EJ Cooks coming up where I do the snake method. These are both comments, so the more you comment on our videos and give us suggestions, we might actually do them, because the grilled pizza and the snake method were both comments, so that's going to be exciting.
And the Boring Chuck episode is all based on a comment.
Oh yeah, very much so. Very interactive. And of course, I'm going to be doing next season of Game of Thrones. How many Game of Thrones videos I do in between now and the beginning of the first season, or the next season, I don't know, because they're just really hard, and I have to do 7 in a row. So I might just do some low effort ones, but because I think I do want to talk about like the spin-offs and stuff that they're doing. So, but until the next season, I probably won't be doing too many more videos.
Sweet.
And also, yeah. So if you want to see more of these, we're going to try to do more of these streams every month.
I'll do them. It's pretty low effort.
Yeah, and but they're going to be for Patreon subscribers, because we got to start giving people a carrot who go on Patreon, and drinking with EJ live stream probably at some point. Yeah, so do at least do $2 on Patreon, and you'll have access to these streams monthly.
I think it'd be fun to invite people into Google Hangouts too.
Yeah, I think we should do Hangouts as well. I kind of like this format where we just have a chat window, because we can do unbridled discussions. But I think we should have separate like Hangouts too.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I want to see your beautiful faces and your beautiful voices.
I know. So that could be fun. Is there any other comments here? Let's see.
Well, Mike Morse is in there of How We Fame.
Oh, hello, Mike.
And he's being kind of funny. He's doing his thing where he goes, carrying on. What the hell are they talking about? Carrot live stream?
Oh, because I said give him a carrot to go to Patreon.
Right.
Yeah,
so they're riffing.
They're riffing.
Will we ever see your movie collection? Yeah. You can see it right now. Do you want to see it right now?
Yes.
All right. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, I would like to make sort of a formal video that reviews the movie collection, but there's the you got some South Park dolls there. You got I have a collection of penguins. That's like a ton of penguin, because I love Batman's penguin. It's like all TV, like a whole sort of TV shelf, and then you got Jabba. Made Jabba no butter. I don't know.
Bell Boots asks, "What's the next best summer blockbuster?" I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know what's coming up.
Well, there's that Wonder Woman everyone's talking about.
I don't want to see it, EJ, but I'm gonna, and it has nothing to do with gender.
I know there's a lot of people who are like, please buy tickets to Wonder Woman. It's like, I don't know. It always feels weird when people are like, give money to a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Well, also like if your logic is like, we want Yeah, we want to show that there's a market for something so that more of it gets made. It's like I don't think that you get to that market by asking people like whether you want to or not, do it.
Yeah.
The whole point is it needs to actually be something they want to go see. And
But I mean, it could be. Look, it looks to be.
I've heard great reviews, and I'll probably walk out of it going, you know what, it really surprised me. But the reason it doesn't look interesting to me is, first of all, I don't know what people are talking about when they say that she was good in Batman v Superman. I hear that all the time, like, oh, she was the best part of Batman v Superman. I'm like, she was in Batman v Superman? I remember some CG versions of her going like, yeah, and like jumping forward. And I remember like her, I don't know, having really flat dialogue with Ben Affleck. I don't,
Yeah.
and I don't think ever once they even said who the hell she was.
Yeah, or what her real purpose was or anything. So it was just like, oh, there's this character that we're setting up for another movie.
And then it also looks like black and white kind of, like it has that desaturated shit look.
Yeah.
I just don't like those DC movies. That's why I don't want to see it.
I mean, other than that, I mean Planet of the Apes, the new Planet of the Apes.
Oh yes.
Definitely.
Oh, that's like, and it's of course going to come out right around the time that I'm having a kid.
I think if that sticks the landing, I think that will be one of the best trilogies in recent years, definitely.
Yeah. Mike says, you need some Indiana Jones Legos in there somehow. Where's Trenholm when you need him? Imagine if Smallvine was in the chat.
Amchat.
Amchat somehow. Any other questions for EJ and I before we basically go to bed?
Yep.
Bring back Linda Carter. I never watched that Linda Carter show. You know,
the Agent Carter?
Yeah. I never really watched any of the Marvel shows.
No, they start all blended together for me. There's so many of them. And,
it's not something I'm interested in keeping track of.
Yeah, I watch a lot of TV, so I have my. I keep up with some things, but it got exhausting, especially when Daredevil became like about fighting cartoon ninjas. I was like, eh.
I'm pretty good about going out to the movies and seeing big movies when they get released, but otherwise, I mean, I make a TV show. It's not it's not as enticing perhaps as a Better Call Saul. But.
Frankie, we should really do the next stream on Better Call Saul.
Yes, I can talk about it.
A post-mortem.
What we could do better as viewers. All right, well, it's lovely. If there's any patrons in here, it's pretty awesome that you give us money. I mean, we can't really be grateful enough for that. And a few people, because of your video, EJ, promoting this, I think we've seen like a $50 a month uptick so that's awesome. That means that right now we kind of just use our, we make, let's just talk some figures for the people. We probably pull in between ad revenue and the Patreon like $2,000 a year from this entire endeavor.
And we're definitely losing money on it.
Oh yes, that's a fact.
If not real money, but also time.
But we do buy certainly coffees, and with the money. But yeah, it would be nice if we could sort of build a little bit of a revenue stream so that we can get some nicer stuff or produce faster. If we're not already producing fast enough.
Yeah. Any. I mean, we're obviously producing a lot of content. We put a lot of effort into it, and it does mean a lot that people actually watch it and actually want to donate. So I
mean, EJ and I went to film school together, and you meet a lot of people who it's their goal to have an audience and to make stuff for them and to entertain them. And I'd say like almost 100% of them don't get to. And so it's been kind of cool to. I've been at this for quite a few years, and you've been at it for quite a few years. So it's really, honestly, like as much as we joke about the small audience, it's like having 2,000 people that check in with you a week. Some of whom are like happy to give you money so that you'll make more of it. It's a gift, so it's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't complaining. It's great.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. EJ, thanks for setting this up. This was EJ's idea. So, if we get more patrons because of content like this, I think you'll see a lot more content like this. But we will make it exclusive to patrons. We got to give them something for that cheddar that they're giving us.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.